indeed, quite a number of developments have been happening right here in the FCT. Kayla did make reference to one of them, which is people destroying infrastructure that has already been built, stealing manhole covers, felling electricity poles, in some instances street light poles, so that they can go and sell these things. Apparently, those are not the only things that are happening in the FCT. Also in the FCT, something quite shocking happened here a few days ago, and NAPTIP, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, sent out a statement, saying that they had been able to apprehend a bishop, a religious leader, who was said to have raped a 12-year-old girl, put under the care of his family. This is supposed to be a religious leader. And not just that they were also able to burst a baby factory somewhere in the Ushafa area of the Federal Capital Territory. And it does raise very strong questions as to what exactly is going on. The baby factory was something that we used to hear of in a certain part of the country, which seems now to be on the down low. It's not clear. Maybe it's just not being as reported as it used to be, or maybe we're truly making strides in eradicating it. But that is now beginning to rear its head in the Federal Capital Territory means that all is not over. If indeed we're making progress in one part of the country, it could be that people are just beginning to disperse and maybe owning these factories, these baby factories in other parts of the country. But, to discuss this and take a look at this particular issue, this tide that we seem to be seeing again in the FCT, is somebody who knows more than a thing about it. We have with us this morning, joining us via phone, is Madam Julie Okadonli, who used to be the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. Dame Julie Okadonli, thank you for joining us this morning on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sure that you heard this piece of news coming from the agency which you used to head. I do not know whether it's something that, were you a little shocked that this was beginning to happen in the Federal Capital Territory?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I do not think it is new. I think it's always been there. The baby factory phenomenon has always been in the FCT. We have a lot of maternity that have come across Nigeria in places. So, of course, it wasn't that obvious at the time. It definitely would have sprung its head at some point.
What could be responsible for this particular phenomenon?
Very quickly, I can tell you without even thinking, we have this serious cultural problem. I call it cultural stigmatization of ladies who can't get pregnant and are stigmatized from being able to have babies. I'm not excusing that at all, but I can tell you that it has made a lot of women very, very desperate to have babies. And so, desperate guys, devise the means of getting this baby. Then, making kids where young are produce babies for these women to buy. Secondly, we have parents, and so they find solace in the factory when they have their babies and they keep them there to keep having babies to sell. So there's so many factors responsible for this and these baby factories, apart from the evil nature of the economy and the greed of that comes with it.
It is very troubling indeed, this development we're seeing around baby factories. And you've just talked about women who are trying to have babies and who are unable to, and who are stigmatized and somehow have to produce babies. But we're beginning to see a sector now, even though it's unclear just how regulated that sector is, where in the medical sector, where IVF hospitals are springing up. Surrogacy is becoming a word that more Nigerian women speak, or more Nigerian families know about. And I'm wondering, could this also be linked to the rise in that?
A lot of
Madam Julie Okadanle, we will have to get back to you again, because it does appear that the connection with the phone call also is a bit faulty this morning. We'll have to reestablish that connection and we'll come back to you shortly.